we're going to take a look at 1X Mobile Preferred. So understand that what you can do first of all is if you have an IP office and you have Essential Edition, you have T1s or PRIs, you have available to every user on the system the 1X Mobile Essential, pardon me, so they can have calls what we call twinned, meaning it's going to ring your desk phone and your cell phone at the same time. That's available to everyone. Okay. What this application does is a license per user. You are adding functionality for Android and iPhone users. So this is the iPhone interface. First of all, what we see here, we have our three main panels here. So this is going to tell me if I have a new instant message activity. This is going to tell me if I have new voicemail. This is going to tell me of activity in my conference bridge. Coming down a little further, I have my status bar. So here I can say I'm available. If I click on that, I can change my status. I can even put a note saying what my status is. I'll move across now. You see I have geolocation. If I click on geolocation, I can actually publish up to whatever level here. So just tell people I'm in, what city. Or do I want to go down to actually telling them my street address? Okay. If they do not have this turned on, it's not on. Okay. So the user has to actively turn it on. The next thing here, I have a green button. That's actually my status. I'm connected and good with the system. I can add myself to a conference bridge. My conference bridge, I should say. I can go ahead and I have a little dial pad there. I can call someone, and at the bottom here you see I can either call them. The way it works when I call someone is it actually has IP office call out to me first and then calls to that person, that destination. Okay? Or I could invite them to the bridge. Okay? So if I dial the number and hit the one with the two people there and a plus, that's actually going to invite them to my bridge. So they're going to be called by the IP office and pulled right into the conference bridge. Next up, the little bell there would be any kind of alarms from the system, specifically from this application. Then I have my, I can set where the calls are going to. So I can actually use this application as call control. So it's using cellular data for the signaling, and it's normally using the talk path as your cellular voice network. But you can modify that somewhat. So let's say I was home, it was an emergency, I didn't have a lot of cell minutes, I could actually set it to work. Now you see the icon has changed there. So now, if I dial, it's going to send the calls to work. If I come in here and say I'm at home, it's going to change it to a home icon. Now it's set to mobile. So I can call control, meaning I can dial out of this application and it will send that call to the appropriate destination. You can even go in and set a custom destination. So maybe I'm working from somebody's house or another business and they have a directly dialable number. I can go ahead and put that in here as well. Normally you're going to have it set to your mobile. Okay? So that's the status bar. And then down below you have your different tiles to let you go into the different applications. So here we have home. If I go into contacts, I can actually see all my contacts. I can see people who are, red, that this person's do not disturb. Available. I don't see anyone who's on yellow, which would be away. Okay, so anyway, I can also come in here and I can pick somebody, click on their geolocation, and it tells me what their location is. I brings it up on a map and I can kind of zoom in. By the way, if I click on that, I can actually, unpin them from a map, call them, add them to a conference, send them an instant message, or show information about their location. So I can look and see where the person is. Okay, they're not at the meeting yet. Let me go ahead and call them. Okay. And again, this is something they would have to turn on for us to be able to use it. In the instant messages, you can see I have my different history here, so I can actually go back and forth, type messages to somebody, and have them reply back. In the voicemail tab here, I have my voicemails. And what I can do, basically, I can pick one of the messages, I can play them, call them back, delete them. What's nice about this is if I delete the person, it synchronizes. In other words, it deletes it back on the Voicemail Pro, the preferred edition. And by the way, if it's a user of my system or a Google Talk user, I can actually see their presence location or presence information and see, case in point, I could call back Ira because he's left me a message. I can see he's available though as well. Okay. Now for the conference bridge, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set a call up to kind of show you this. So first of all, what I can do is I'll go ahead and I will go back to my home screen here and I'll add myself to the conference because it kind of makes sense, right? I want to be on the bridge so that as people come on, I can, kind of welcome them, etc. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and you notice how now I'm on the bridge, so it just shows me joining there. I'll go ahead and dial another number, and I have to dial it like I'm dialing it from my desk in the office. Again, instead of hitting that phone icon to call, I'm going to go ahead and hit the other icon, which is inviting them to a conference. You notice how it pops up the window here that it's adding them to a conference, or adding them to the conference, I should say. And hopefully in a second here it'll start ringing. And there we go. So now I'll go ahead and I will answer that call. And now, so we have two phones on the conference. It's a little lag here for whatever reason. So I can see that I have at least the first number. The second one should appear in a second. There seems to be a little bandwidth issue. There we go. So now I have my two different members. I can come in here and edit them. If I want to pick somebody and say, you know what, I want to mute them, you notice that I can mute them. I can also come in here, edit somebody, and say I'm going to disconnect them. Okay. I can lock the room. Locking the room means, okay, we're going to be in here. We don't want to allow anybody else in. Or I can mute the room. So let's say I was sitting in your parking lot. I need to do a presentation. I could basically put the call in a lecture mode so that I'm the only one talking. Or I can unmute the room. Okay? And again, once I'm done, I can basically pick everybody and hit disconnect, and they're all dropped off the call. Okay? So that's a little bit about 1X Mobile Preferred, in this case for the iPhone, but it also works on the Android tablet as well, or Android phone as well. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a look at Avaya Flare Communicator with IP Office, now available with 8.1. So I'll click on the application. We see the splash screen here. And the application comes up. I'll go ahead and I'll log in. And this is a demo system, so go ahead and log into my demo system. So at the top here, first of all, the first block you see, my presence information. You can see that I'm extension 5005. I'm available. If I click on that, I can actually change myself busy or appear offline. I can even put a status message in that tells people, I'm in a meeting or whatever. I, of course, could also log out. The next window over, that would show me any messages. So when I first logged in, we saw a message about my connection. If someone instant messaged me, you would actually see that show up in that window. Next, we have settings. What I'm going to skip over to is on the right here, I have my directory, so you can kind of see all the different people, so I can scroll down. Neil is basically on his phone, it looks like, so I'll scroll down here and find my colleague, David Joyce, who's there's David, and we can see David is green, available to take a phone call. He also is green, available for me to instant message. Now, before I do that, I have two other things here at the top. So if I click on the call history here, I can see, calls that I had from different people, when they were, and if they connected to me or if they didn't connect to me. I can also go over and look at my chat history. If I had, back and forth chats, you would see the history of them here. So let me go back to my directory, and what I'm going to do first of all is just show you from this. I could do it a couple of ways. I can actually click on the icons here. So you see we have a call, a phone, that's to call the person. Video is not supported at this time in Flare. That's something that's a future. You will also see instant messaging that's available. So I could click here, or I could drag the individual out into the spotlight. So what I'm going to do is I'll just show you calling or instant messaging a person using this. So I click on this, my keyboard pops up, I'll type a message. The person on the other end, of course, gets the instant message, and then he can reply back to me. And I see the reply back. So I could then launch a call right from here by hitting the green icon that basically is a phone. I'm not going to do it that way, though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag David out into the spotlight. And now you see I have different options available. I could, of course, from the spotlight, call him or instant message him. I'm going to go ahead and call David. And now it pops up here. I'm on an active call with him. You can see I could drop it with the red icon. I can mute the input. I have a little timer that pops up and tells me I, have been on the call with him for, in this case, 10 seconds. So this is basically, what I can do. It's allowing me to have on this iPad a voice over IP client. So I would be connected via Wi-Fi. In this case, I'm actually going, over the internet using a VPN to get back to the IP office system and make this call. So that's a little quick, short update. This is what Flare on IP Office can do with Avaya IP Office 8.1. Thank you.